Hello and welcome back. We're chatting with Ruthie Odom today, who recently released Mystery School. Hello!
Hi,
How are you?
I am good.
Well,
What chooses an angle, which is fun.
it takes
So just
a
like,
minute. It takes a minute. Oh, Ruthie Odom. Welcome, everyone. This is Ruthie Odom, healer, teacher, and guide within the Mystery School based in California.
yes,
Where
yeah.
are you?
I'm in Long Beach, California.
Amazing, amazing. So I was reminiscing about one of my early times that I knew you, and coming to a one-woman play
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
put,
I
and that
did.
was
I, I think that play is actually still somewhere on the YouTubes.
oh, we
Uh,
have to link that.
okay. Yeah, I did a play about being from the South because I'm from Savannah, Georgia, and I went to school at Emerson College in Boston, and I always thought the interesting between, just culturally between the North and South was so fascinating how um, that that difference has to this day, it's still been there. And what does it mean to be a human being, but be born in a completely different culture? And what happens when you kind of like cross hairs? And how do you find unity in that? So like in college, I was still fascinated with like these kind of concepts. So it makes sense that I also work as like a spiritual guide and then work to make a documentary about the modern mystery school, which is also about being human in life. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was a lot of like questioning about spirituality and religion and upbringing, a lot of moral questions that I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are facing more and more these days, and spirituality is becoming more and more engaged in how people ask those questions and how they
Mm.
answer those questions, and how much magic. I remember when you interviewed me as part of the process, that was a big part of what is magic, and is magic real, and how does it play into our lives. And yeah, so your docu-series released last week.
Yeah.
Amazing. You've been
Yep.
working.
2 episodes are out now.
Yeah, 2 episodes are out. You've been really pouring your heart and soul into this for years, I know. um, so I really want to know what your process was, being someone who, you have a background in art and film production and acting, and what your process has been moving, how you sort of blended these worlds of creating art and being a spiritual guide, and what your inspiration was and what your process has been, and now seeing it to at least the first stage of its fruition. Yeah, I'd love to hear anything that you have to share about that process.
Oh man. Um, I think that living is an art, you know? Like living every day and living alive is an art form. So in a sense, I think everybody is an artist and they have to be an artist and a scientist through their own life. So, yeah, you can be the scientist of your life, like, when you cook food, like, oh, I need to eat protein or I need to eat vegetables. But then the artist has to come in. It's like, well, I want to cook and be a chef and make something creative. So I truly believe that art and science is something that comes into everyday life. And it's funny that you mentioned my show in college. I just sort of did that. I made that one woman show in college because I was like, can I self-produce, direct, write, and perform a show all on my own? Because when I went to college, I was really kind of afraid of this concept of the industry, and you have to sort of, I went to school as an acting major and I worked in film, and you have to kind of, audition and have the perfect headshot and really try to sell yourself to get the part that you want. And I was really dissatisfied with that in college. And I was like, I want to see if I can just do it on my own for the love of creating something and for the love of doing something. And when I did that in college, I knew that I could replicate that again. So when I got the hit that I wanted to make this documentary, I was like, well, I already have a pathway of knowing that I can self-produce something. So let's just like make a plan and do it again. and make this docuseries. And the docuseries came from just deep love of the modern mystery school and the teachings of the mystery school, and wanting to reflect the beauty of this lineage, because this lineage helps people to perfect the art of living through a deeper understanding of the science of living. And so all the mystery school does is it gives you tools, it gives you a structure, it gives you the science. This is how you can bring light, bring greater awareness, bring greater joy into your life. This is a path to do it. And then through your desire for what you want to create in life, you are the artist that then takes that science and makes magic. So art and science, magic.
Yeah. Yeah. And how your journey, it also, really begins with the self, and how your journey in that first show that you made it was like, that you made was figuring out your own process, figuring out your own internal structures, your own know-how, your own abilities, and your own magic, right? Because creation, like you said, creation magic is art, is magic. And then having that foundation of figuring that out for yourself allowed you to step onto this greater stage of being able to work with the team, work with people from all over the world, travel around the world to make this docuseries that's so much greater than you.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of that mirrored in the path as well. As the first stages of the path are to serve thyself, to know thyself, to honor thyself, to create that structure within, so that you can then stand on a greater stage and serve others, shine your light for others, to move forward and to heal themselves, and be that beacon of light, of an example of what's possible, the transformation and transmutation that's possible within ourselves, to then show that to the world, and what's possible, to what's changed in the world that's at large. And I see that, I watch your docuseries and I cry at both of them every time, because the transformation is so amazing, and your ability to show people what is possible. Did you ever think that you would end up producing a docuseries of this?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
I was 22, I knew I wanted to make a documentary. But I had a lot of self-doubt at the time. When you're 22, you're kind of like, you're just a baby. Like I'm going to be 30 in a couple months. So, but I went to law school, and I went to law school for a year. I did the first year, and then first 2 semesters, and then I decided to drop out because I didn't really want to be a part of that system. I really enjoyed studying about human law. Like, it was fascinating, but I could never actually see myself as a lawyer. So I decided to leave. And when I left, I really felt strongly that the way that I wanted to bring justice was through documentary. So I actually got the hit when I made that decision back then. But at the time, I really struggled with a lot of self-doubt and negative thinking. I wasted a lot of time in my 20s stressing about things that didn't matter. And I feel that if I could go back and talk to that version of myself, I would just say, hey, you don't have to spend so much time trying to be perfect in your mind that it stops you from actually taking action. Because what I learned through this process is you just have to take the first step. And then after the first step follows the second step. And I tend to be someone who wants things to be perfect and wants things to be exactly right. And what I had to learn through this process was just like letting go of everything that I think I know, so that I could let this evolve into what it's going to be. Because when you go out to create something, when you go out to do something, you are in conversation with the God around you, right? Like, okay, in the mystery school, we teach you, like, you're God, you create your life, you have this desire, and here's tools to help you really live as a creative being in your life. But you are in conversation with the environment around you all the time, which maybe you can call that the big God God. I don't think God's like a big white guy in the sky, you know what I mean? But there is, the world is alive. And you go out when you want to create something, you go out with this desire, and it's like a flag in the ground of like, I'm going to do this. And the world, the universe, life, God responds to you based off of your action, your efforts, your planning, and if you're taking that first step or not. providing you like those things that you need, and you kind of enjoy this dance with life as you go to create something, because it is through the world around you that you're going to get the resources you need to make your vision possible. So how do you get those resources? And I wasted so much time in, like, you know, when I was 22, just trying to navigate the mental space, that I never got to actually really be present with how life was responding to me. And I think that trips so many people up. It's just the mind trips us up. But when we can really heal that, you can enjoy life so much more, because you will get to enjoy the dance of life and how to navigate it with greater ease or clarity, or just motivation, because you're not alone. And you're never alone when you're creating anything. Like the people, the energy, it's all there. So
A lot of people struggle with that self-doubt, not just in their 20s.
yeah.
What what helped you get over that self-doubt and get over that sort of like hamster wheel, I can't, to help you be able to actually, what helped you get over that and move into action in this dance that you talk about with life?
King Solomon healing modality. Seriously, the King Solomon healing modality was the first large healing series that I ever did in the mystery school that quieted my mind. Like, that's like a 12 session series, and you are getting like really in-depth, intense healing each like week or 2 weeks. So you're putting yourself through this beautiful like alchemical process. And I remember I wasn't like I was young when I was first doing it, and my mind, like, okay guys, like I was like the type that could present so normal, but my mind was just a chaos chamber all the time. And it was just like a ping pong ball bouncing around to, am I doing enough? Is this good enough? Did I say the right thing? Do people like me? Da 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 da. Like totally loud, chaotic, not fun. But then you could present normally. It's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine. And it was King Solomon healing modality. Like when I was like done with the series, and it was like a couple weeks after I was finished with my last session, I, I just was like, I remember stopping in the street and being like, my mind is so quiet. And I was like surprised. I was like, wow. Like I was so focused on whatever it was I was doing in life that I had to really stop and be like, oh, it's so much quieter. And then the path of the mystery school only built on that deep calm that my mind has, you know, achieved. I'm so grateful for all the tools that I've utilized in the mystery school, because my mind is so free. Like I would pay $5 billion for what the mystery school offered me, because like it's hard to really communicate to people of like, yeah, I seem fine on the outside, but on the inside my mind was torturing itself every day. And I would pay, like I said, I would pay $5 billion again just to be where I am now, where my mind is actually free.
Yeah.
And that's possible. If you're free in your mind, and your thoughts don't dictate every single thing in your reality, but your will does, and that will is connected to a greater purpose, you can really do anything that you want. And so all we do in the mystery school is we help you liberate your mind, get quieter, so that you can actually get to know yourself and plug your will into something greater, like a greater purpose, or that greater conversation with life.
Yeah, yeah. And that still mind, like you said, is so important for hearing, you know, you said that life was a dance and that we're always creating art. We're really co-creating art with the greater intelligence that's all around us. But in order to connect in with that higher intelligence that's always available, our minds have to be quiet. And how much time do people spend, right, like you said, struggling with that chaos in the mind that they can't hear or can't see or can't feel or can't sense the true magic, the rhythm, the essence that's all around us at all times. And you're absolutely right. When I received the King Solomon Healing Modality series, my mind shifted from not even really contemplating what was possible to realizing that I could actually change. I could actually make a difference. I could actually, you know, stand up and not live the monotonous life that I thought had just been laid out for me, that I could actually live a life of magic and do something so much greater than what I had thought before. Yeah, so I agree with you. The King Solomon creates massive, massive shifts in the realm of healing, and that healing being quieting the mind activating the will, connecting with that higher purpose, forgiving yourself, loving yourself so that you can move into greater possibility. Thank you so much for bringing up the King Solomon.
Yeah,
Um,
it really
yeah,
helped.
yeah, that's such a good point. That's such an awesome point. Um,
And,
yeah,
and something I want to clarify, if that's okay, about
yeah,
magic in the mystery school. Magic, we hear those terms and people can often get a little like, oh, okay. It's like it's sequestered to the realm of like magicians or fantasy or something that you see on Disney. And the magic that we're talking about capable in the mystery school is being able to tap into a technology that quiets your mind so that you get to know thyself. And once you know thyself, you can then help direct this intelligence all around you towards the accomplishment of your desire, not the desires of your ego, but the desires of everything that you uncovered from knowing thyself. And hopefully the documentary stands as my integrity when I say that. So that definition I gave you, what I have to back it is utilizing that same definition to make a documentary, which I have been thinking about really since I was 22, and then it comes into fruition now. So even in time is a really interesting concept too when you're thinking about creation and healing. Sometimes people think I don't have enough time, or they get onto themselves because of their age, whether they're too young or too old, or there's not enough time, or they put themselves in some age bracket depending on how old they are. Time is just the force that moves everything forward. Time is not a measurement. Time is not something that's against you. Time is actually fundamental to progression. And in the mystery school, we say that evil is anything that stops your progression. So in a sense, time can actually be your best friend. It's one of the most valuable resources. So don't ever, be discouraged by time. Be grateful for time, that it's pushing you, that it's offering this element, pushing you forward in all things. And even though I thought of this when I was 22, and it took a lot of time, to put these things together, and a lot of like mistakes to put the documentary together, time still supported me through that. And we have to grow, and we have to change, and we have to shift if we're actually going to see the greatness with the time that we have of our own divinity.
yeah. And I love how you tied it back into progression, because the nature of human, the nature of soul is to progress, of spirit is to progress, right? Is to grow and to evolve. So that yearning that we have to be better, to challenge ourselves, to grow, is a natural sort of impulse to progress, right? To follow that nature of time, to grow and to evolve, and to become better than you were yesterday. And the mystery school path provides a structure for the progression of you, for the progression of time, to make the most out of what you have been provided in this short life,
Yeah.
with this experience that we have of being human, to become the greatest version of ourselves, using the tools of healing, using the structure of progression, in order to achieve the greatest of everything that we have been gifted with in life.
In order to achieve a better world, like seriously, what we're talking about here is like actual hope for life. Like, I grew up thinking that I couldn't do anything. Like, the world was falling apart. There were no options. Everybody's dying, and that's not true. And what's so freaking cool about the mystery school structure is that you can always find an answer out of that BS maze that everything in this world will try to feed you. It's like, oh, there's nothing you can do. You're only human. You're only this. The powers that be are in charge, and I'm a victim. And in the mystery school, we say that's just not the case. And as guides, we get to stand in integrity and be like, actually, you are a huge key in the world turning to whatever it needs to do. You are a huge key in making magic and miracles possible. And you can do it. Like, just seriously heal and then source that mission from within, and the world can change. And it's an infallible system that helps us to connect to that and actually serve people to greater and greater progression. And now it kind of seems lofty, like the mystery school is coming in, like, it's more out in the public, it's getting bigger, and people want to push against it and be like, no, that's not possible. And I'm like, no, it is possible. We've just been super jaded by the 90s, or you know what I mean? Like just like thousands of years of just like thinking that it's not possible. And I'm sorry, it is possible. It is possible. And the only reason I can say that is because I've been able to source that and do that in my own life. Something that I never thought my mind was ever going to stop being a torture chamber. And now it has stopped being a torture chamber. And in that integrity, I can stand in front of people being like, if you want your mind to cease being a torture chamber, you're going to put the work in. Here's the tools to do it, but you can get there. I don't know how long it's going to take. It might take you a couple months. It might take you a couple of years. I don't know. But as long as you don't give up and you keep implementing the right system with dedication and discipline or discipleship, motivation to your higher purpose, you actually can achieve what it is you are meant to achieve. Even if you make mistakes and fail, it will keep coming. So it's just like live in your. I love Founder Goodney, who's one of our teachers. You know, he got onto us once. He's like, don't live in CNN, guys. Like, don't, like, you know, if you think that the world is against you and stuff, like, and all this stuff, just like it's like the doom and gloom. It's just something that gets fed to us, and we can actually shift our perspective and see the science, the technologies, the goodness in people, the changing systems of our time that are leading to a better world, and we can pull our brains out of the muck and get inspired by the new things that are created. And you can actually be a part of that. Right.
Yeah. No, you're so right. You're so right. And I appreciate your, you have so much passion and power, Ruthie, when you speak.
Definitely passionate about not being in the 90s anymore. Even though I did like all the Disney movies and stuff, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, but otherwise, yeah.
Actually, I mean, the 90s were cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's kind of coming back, like the fashion.
Yeah, the fact. I mean, it's on like a couple year, like every like decade or two cycle.
Right. I mean, City is still season. Like, it's just it never left.
So. Yeah. But it's so true what you say. You know, people are really. It is really important that people believe that they don't have to buy into the doom and gloom.
No.
That's not the answer, and that there's a system
so boring.
for them,
so
for them to find them out. And it is, at least that I know, the best way that I know of is the mystery school path. Is the mystery school path to find their way out of that. So,
yeah, infallible system.
Yes, yes.
I mean, there's people in the mystery school, and people are infallible. People are people, but the system itself, you can apply it to anything. You can apply it to science. You can apply it to art. You can apply the structure to anything you want, and it will work. So enjoy that exploration, because it is an exploration process. If you are choosing to embark on the tools of the mystery school of King Solomon healing modalities, empower thyself, Kabbalah, all these things, the system works. The system works, and it's going to take your will to apply that system to what it is you want. The thing is, you apply that system to the self, to unearth your true self, and who you are, and your gifts, and greater potentials, and all that stuff. But the system does work. And it is a science, and hopefully the documentary is a testament to that system, because you know the documentaries are great because they can be like a social experiment, you know, where I felt like when I was getting interviews for the documentary, I felt like all I was doing was collecting data, and I was just doing social research, just going out and asking people the same question. What happened when you got a life activation? What happened when you did empower thyself? And I think we interviewed like 80 people, and all of them had amazing experience with it. And the energy expressed itself through everybody differently, you know, but it still helped them. But they're individuals and they're unique. So the energy expressed itself through each person differently. But I was a scientist just in the field gathering this information. And you know, you got to have your own experience, and you got to be the scientist of your life and the artist of your life to see what those tools can do for you. But you know, after my research, it only confirmed my knowledge of what I know about myself, of that, okay, the system works, and how's it working in all these other people, and then I get to use the art side of me to hopefully make something beautiful that people want to watch.
Yeah, and everyone should definitely watch it. It's on YouTube. I'm gonna comment. I'm gonna link it in the comments. Thank you so much for chatting with me, Ruthie, and for talking, and for also just for creating the docuseries, for being yourself and creating the docuseries. It is. You don't have to hope. It is a beautiful testament to your own integrity and to the infallibility of the structure of the mystery school and the structure of progression and its ability to transform people's lives in the most positive ways that I have ever seen in this world. So thank you for putting it on that platform. Thank you for doing your research and giving it a beautiful container for all of us to share. I really appreciate your work, and I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with me today, and for continuing to do the work that you do as a
Thank you so much. It was definitely a big team effort to make something like that, but that's also more fun to do things together and do things as community. And I'm really glad to be here with you today. I totally support everything that you're doing in Boston, and it's so cool that we get to have this like bi-coastal connection, because I'm over here on the West Coast doing this work here on the East Coast, and I just feel like a cool team, global team.
cool team. Join the team. Join the fam, guys.
Totally.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ruthie. And I will link the docuseries for everyone to watch. And you can follow Ruthie on her Instagram, her YouTube, any place else people can find you and work with you.
You can just go to my Instagram, and I have like a link tree in my bio of any kind of resource that you want. And I'll link it to the documentary, to my website, these kind of things. If you want to find me, it's pretty easy. My website's ruthieodom.com. The docuseries is on the Modern Mystery School International YouTube channel. So thank you to the Modern Mystery School for providing that platform and being the big producer in this project. Obviously, we can't do it without them, and then them is us. We're all part of the mystery school, so it's good stuff. But yeah, there's resources there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ruthie. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And please reach out to either of us or anybody. We can also put you in contact with someone of your area if you're looking for a mystery school healer or guide. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.